Blankman, joined here today by Quentin Dreyer of the IKM-Manning Wolves. We're up here at the state cross-country meet. Quentin, a pretty good day, a little bit windy out here today, but it seemed like most of the time that wind was probably behind you. So how much of an impact did the wind have on you today?
I could feel going into when we were just walking the course that the wind was going to be challenging. So I kind of tried throughout the race. I kind of tried to stay with those people that were around me and kind of just draft off them for the most part.
Take us through that walkthrough today. What were you seeing on the course? What were you reading with the wind, and what was kind of going through your mind as far as the strategy you wanted?
Like you said, with the wind, I knew I needed to try and draft off some people. But last year, being here and being able to compete was also a good taste of what it was going to be like. And I could kind of tell where I needed to kick and where spots that I could make a quick turnaround could be, as well as kind of basing it off past meets and seeing who was here, who I could kind of pace with and see who I could keep up with.
What areas of the course did you feel like you could make some moves?
Those flat, actually no, kind of on those uphills a bit, there were people kind of slowed down, so that's where I kind of tried to make up ground. And then I think the biggest area where I kind of caught people was like right at the end on the home stretch.
You mentioned being here last year. How much did that help? The start seems to be the hardest part, getting out of that big group of people. How did the start go for you this year?
This start is always faster than your normal meet because you have the adrenaline going and everybody just knows that they need to get out fast to get a good placement and spot up there in position. So I knew I needed to go out fast and try and stick with some of those people that I knew were going to push it at the beginning. And you could kind of you could tell right at the start, you just hear everybody's feet pounding on the ground, and it's just like a stampede.
Course feel different this year running it than it had last year when you were here?
I think the only change was that the wind was a bit more challenging, and last year was a lot colder. This year was really nice with all the sun and that, so that was kind of another better thing to this year.
Who are some of the kids you were hoping to run next to or run with and draft off of, and were you able to kind of accomplish that?
Brett McGee from Tri-Center has always been a good competitor with me ever since 7th grade. And I stayed with him for about the first mile, and then he kind of got a little bit away from me, but there was this East Marshall kid from districts who was right behind districts, so I just tried to stay with him throughout the majority of the race because I knew him and I kind of had the same pace.
What was that pace like through that first mile and a half?
The first mile was a lot faster because I was ahead of him. Actually, I was a little bit ahead of him at that beginning part, so the first mile was a lot faster than any of our regular season meets. So then after that second mile, I kind of realized that I needed to tone it down just a little bit if I was going to have enough to be able to finish.
Take us through that last 2 miles to mile and a half or so of the race. How did you get some people? How many people did you pass?
I had a couple people pass me over there on the 2.5 mile marker. Right at the end on the home stretch, I think I caught 2 or 3 guys because I had in my head this could quite possibly be my last cross-country race, so I knew I needed to kick it in and give it all I had.
Take us through coming down that hill to the finish line. You can see it for a ways. What's that like, and what did you see in front of you kind of developing?
Right at the top around the curve, like you said, you can see everybody, and it seems a lot longer than it is, but I think that's just because there's so many more people along the side, and it just feels that much longer. So you just need to keep a good pace. I just need to keep a good pace towards the end, and then just kick it in right at the end.
With them separating out the class sizes, such a smaller crowd, is that noticeable for you guys either through the walkthrough or while you're out running today, or is that something that you didn't really pay attention to?
I noticed it more through the walkthrough, like it wasn't as crowded, but during the race, the lines were pretty much lined with people, so there wasn't that much big of a change just because that's how it's been in last year and the years past.
What are you going to take away from being here this year, a memory or anything?
Certainly the people that showed up and all the friends and family that came out to support, and I thank everybody for that, as well as all my teammates who also came out and supported, as well as the coaches.
Well, Quentin, great job out here today. Appreciate you joining us. Terrific job all season long.
Thank you.